Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I want to talk about Solana. I want to talk about, is this chain a broken chain? Is it still living up to the hype? You know, last year's bull run, this chain, this L1 was the darling. It was the next ETH killer. And I want to talk about and deep dive and see if it's still considered an ETH killer or should we just give up on Solana? Let's get into it. Before I get into it though, please hit that like button if you find any of the information that I'm sharing with you today of any value. And if you like more and you want to see more of my stuff, you know, hit that subscribe button and hit the bell to be notified when I come out with new content. Let's dig in. So I'm part of this, this community here. And one of the commenters highlighted 10 points as to why they thought Solana is still one of the best L1s out there. So what I decided to do was make a video talking about these 10 points and see what I can find and see if I agree or disagree with them. And at the end, let's see where we come out. So there are the 10 points there. I'm not going to go over them because I'm going to talk about them in the next slides. So, you know, that's where we're at. So let's see what we got. So quick protocol held up the network while under spam attack. So this was developed by Jim Roskin. And basically, quick stands for quick UDP internet connections. It works with multiplex connections, making it so that multiple transmissions are required, only one channel to be open at certain time intervals. This way, if one of the transmission fails or gets delayed, it would not be impacted or it will not impact the other messages. And this way, it's a way to limit connections. Quick will open up more ways to further improve the stability of data transfers across the Solana network. First and foremost, it's adopted to combat spam attacks. Now, as you know, and if you've seen during the many spam attacks and sometimes the network shutdowns, it was because of the spam and due to the low fees of Solana, which makes it very attractive for spammers to attack. So this quick protocol is helping separate that so that the entire network is not impacted. So, it's positive. Fire Dancer is in production. So if you haven't heard of Fire Dancer, it's something that's in production right now, and it's going to help improve the network efficiency, help scale the network, and make it cheaper to run a validator node. Also, it makes the network more decentralized. So I gave you the breakdown of what Fire Dancer is supposed to do. Now let's kind of get into it and find out what it actually is. So it goes in this article when I found it looking at my research here for Fire Dancer, it says the truth is that there is one fatal flaw with some POS consensus methods, and that is having the network overthrown by a majority of the stakers. But with just over a third of the stakers staking power running on Fire Dancer, no single client will have supermajority on the network. And the benefit of having a second validator eliminates any issue of having single point of failure. So according to the website, it's looking that this should be in production and completed within the next 12 to 24 months. So that's positive. The core code will be written in C and C++ programming languages. These languages are chosen due to their wide use in the writing code that needs low-level access to a computer's hardware. Low-level access means faster operating times, hence higher throughput and transaction speed. So it goes along with what Solana's trying to do. Next is adoption. Now, if you've seen any of my videos before, I always talk about adoption. I always look for the next gem, the next 300, 500x coin. And I understand that, Cadena is a good hardware, good is good. Near is also a good one. However, if you have the best chain and no one's using it, it impacts the price. So Solana, it does have the adoption. A lot of people may hate to hear this, but they do have it. And I'm going to go through what I found. So if you look at Twitter, if you look at the Twitter followings for cryptocurrencies, the top one is BNB, Binance. Second is Bitcoin. And if we go down the line, Ethereum's number 5 and Solana's number 8. Pi Network, that's crazy, number 9, and Polygon's number 10. So Solana has 2 million followers and Ethereum has 2.8 million. So if you look at, looking at based on Twitter followers alone, the only L1 on here is, I guess you could say Binance is number 1. And then after that is Solana, right? So that's something to pay attention to. Next, if we look at the daily active users, so you have a good chain and you have adoption and people are on it, they're using your network, they're on your chain transacting. Ethereum has about 533 daily active addresses. right? So then we look at Solana. Solana has 639 daily active addresses. That's not me. That's something that I found. So I found that very interesting. Then if we look at Solana as far as the developers on the chain, they rank number 4, and I broke it down at the bottom. Ethereum's number 1. It's the beast. It has 4,000. Polkadot has 1,500. Cosmos and Solana have 1,000. So, you know, investors, talent, and all around, they are jumping to Solana. This is the bear market right now. And due to the outages, I'm not only going to point out the good things, due to the outages and some of the issues that Solana's had, some developers have been leaving. But again, there's still there's still adoption here. You look at the DeFi on Solana, that's the breakdown of the ecosystem there. Then if we look at DeFi Llama, total value lock in DeFi, they're ranked number 6 with over 1 billion staked. So 1 billion transactions locked, total value locked, that's pretty good. Considering everything that they have, all the negative press and everything like that, they still have over 1 billion locked. That's impressive. So let's look at the other point that Crypto Blondie made. He or she said that SBF, Simon Bankman-Fried, is focusing on fast protocols for TradeFi utility. So we already know that he's a backer of Solana, and we know that he also mentioned in the past that he's a backer of Avalanche, another L1, and most recently he's a backer of Aptos. Aptos was founded by one of the Facebook blockchain guys who, since that operation is since defunct, he started Aptos with another co-founder, and he's backing that as well. So he's looking for speed, and he's a big supporter of Solana. And in this recent article here, he said that he thinks that Solana is one of the most underrated token, even given the hiccups of all the outages. Continuing with SBF, his company Alameda Research donated $314 million to Solana back in June 2021. Also built Serum, a decentralized exchange on Solana. And again, like I said, he backs Avalanche and Aptos. So, he's focusing on the fast protocols that somehow in the future, and which he believes, and I believe too, that's the future of money. All the currency, he's looking for the next Visa, next MasterCard, something that could process transactions just as fast. And, these are the 3 that he's looking at. The next point that is made is that the Nakamoto coefficient 32 rating supports that Solana is more decentralized than people may think. Now, this argument was made by a DeFi project already on the Solana platform, so you got to take that with a grain of salt. The DeFi project is called Unstoppable Finance, and they go on to say that the network's active validator count, Nakamoto coefficient, and support for validator hardware, which is often argued to be expensive as reasons for the network's decentralization. So, the Nakamoto coefficient is a metric that measures the distribution of stake coins and decentralization. It's much higher than protocols like Cosmos and Near Protocol. So that's the argument that they're making. Again, take that with a grain of salt because it's kind of biased, being that they're on the project already. But, that's the argument that the user was making. The next point that was made is Avalanche, which is the next, considered ETH killer. Behind Sol, there's Avalanche. And it was, did pretty well the last bull market. However, the point that this user is making here is that, the FUD recently, the last couple of weeks, that they hired an attorney to kind of, put pressure on the competitors and speak negatively about them, probably wasn't good for them. Additionally, Avalanche has high inflation as well. Every 6 months or so, they're just flooding the market with more coins. And, I'll talk about Solana in once we get towards the conclusion, because I know that they basically have no limit as well. And I'll talk about the differences. But the point here is that Avalanche, which is the next closest competitor, because of the FUD and the high inflation, they're saying that that's not really the next competitor as far as the ETH killer goes. So that's up for debate. 1.5 years of hackathons versus ETH 5-year timeline. So basically, hackathons happen. They've been doing it for about 1.5 years now, where developers get together, providing funds for up-and-coming projects. So, we talked about the developers on Solana. They have over 1,000. So, that's still positive, and they're growing. So the other point that the user made was that consistent 14K TPS on the testnet achieved. Everything that I found didn't support 14K. I saw 13K, which is still nothing to sneeze at. So, testnet reached 13K TPS. The trading volume saw an increase of 10% in the last 24 hours. This article was written, last week. So the increased throughput can make its way to the mainnet eventually and increases Sol's utility. So the next point that was made was the SMN stack. I don't know if you guys heard about it, but basically, it's from Solana Labs, and it's an open source software toolkit for Android, enabling native Android Web 3 apps on Solana with the Seed Vault Secure custody protocol that facilitates instant signing transactions while keeping private keys partitioned from wallets, apps, and the Android operating system. So the article goes on, it's a good article. It said developers have been blocked for too long from creating truly decentralized mobile apps because the existing gatekeeper model just doesn't allow that. That's from the co-founder of Solana. We live our lives on our mobile devices except for Web3 because there hasn't been a mobile-centric approach to private key management. The Solana mobile stack shows a new path forward on Solana that is open source, secure, optimized for Web3, and easy to use. The next point that was made was Helium moving over to Solana. Initially, this was thought to be good news, but then after this was announced, the price of Helium went down. And that could be for, Solana's had bad press recently, for the last, I'd probably say 8 months of just bad press. And, this deal, although not finalized, it's just been proposed, people didn't really like the thought of Helium going to Solana. However, I think it's a good thing. It's a good thing for the network, and it's a good thing for the space. So I pointed out some reasons why I think it makes sense. The deal makes sense. Again, it hasn't been finalized. It's only proposed. But, if you think about what 5G is all about, you need speed, right? You need the scalability. What makes sense? You need to find an L1 that can do that for you. Solana, right? Also, there's partners with Samsung, Qualcomm, back Freedom Fi, Helium's 5G crypto network partner. So that's good. That's bringing all of that network and relationships over to Solana. The co-founder was a senior staff engineer at Qualcomm for 12 years. So you see the relationship there. And the partnership makes sense given the release of the new phone that will be coming for Solana in first quarter of 2023. And the phone is Saga, with Web3 capabilities. So piggybacking off of that, they have the new store that opened in New York City. And, people kind of question why you need a store. But it's a good way to add adoption. People walking by and they want to see what it's all about. They learn about NFTs. They learn about the blockchain. Anything that brings more people and more, education to the space is beneficial to everybody. So I like this. I like this a lot. And I can't wait. Next time I'm over in that area, I'm definitely going to take a tour of this store. So in conclusion, I'm not a Solana bull. I mean, I am, but I'm not just going to say that everything's perfect. It's not perfect. The cons are they keep having these spam attacks, network outages, and to combat that, they've increased, some of the network fees because it made it, kind of invited hackers to go and spammers to come because it was so cheap to do it. Now they increased the fee a little bit, and as of late, besides one of the wallets being impacted on the Solana ecosystem, I haven't heard much about it. So hopefully they get that under control. Solana's still in beta, so we got to remember that. There's no max supply. So, they list it on there, as far as max supply goes, but there's no supply. So what I say to that is I don't like inflation. If you have something at a price and you keep flooding it like Avalanche, keep, periodically just releasing coins, it's going to impact the price. However, if you have heavy adoption, if people are using your coins, they're using the ecosystem, using all the dApps, that kind of offsets that a little bit. So it's concerning, but it's not going to turn me away from Solana and not decentralized. So, again, the theme of crypto is to be decentralized and be in control of your own destiny, not having big banks, government involved. But they are heavily backed by VCs. So it's a double-edged sword. The VCs will fund projects, will fund innovation and everything like that, but you sacrifice decentralizations in that aspect. So I don't like that. The pros, the quick protocol and increased fees are helping combat, the spam attacks. So I like that. They are working towards it. Heavy adoption may offset the inflation like I talked about. I talked about the VC backing. SPF is behind Solana, and he's a very smart man as far as the crypto space goes. He doesn't put his money into something he doesn't believe in or that doesn't have a future. And basically, Solana is ETH 2.0. You know, the merge is coming up next week, and it's still one of many till they get to the part where, you know, they can actually scale and have some speed. But Solana's already there, and it doesn't need Polygon. It doesn't need a second layer to help with scalability. Currently, it ranks number 1 as far as daily active users for L1s. So you add all that up together, and I think if they can stop the spam attacks and come out of beta, I think it's the ETH killer. There's nothing that I see that's close to Solana right now with the adoption, the speed, and everything, and what they're doing. I think Solana is the ETH killer, and I still continue to have faith in it. Now, if they don't work out these kinks and I continue to see attacks, then I may have to second guess my position. But yes, Solana is the ETH killer. And right now, it's unpopular to say that. And right now, a lot of people are off Solana. But this is the time. This is when millionaires are made, because people are not thinking like you. Right now, you're thinking out of the box. So I'm thinking out of the box. So right now, the price, it looks like support is around $30, $31. I'm going to keep accumulating. And when the light bulbs goes off, people realize how special this chain is. Then we'll see who has the last laugh. So guys, I hope you liked the content. If you did, please hit that like button. If you want to continue to see more of my videos, hit the subscribe button and hit the bell to be notified when I come out with new content. Hope you guys stay safe. Until next time. Later.